We're good. Okay, guys. So here's what's going on. Hey, Stanton, can you guys hear me? I'm going to assume that you can, or you can throw up a thumbs up to hear that we're good. All right, everyone can see and hear me. That's what it's saying. So, yay. So, okay, so I'm going to explain to you guys what's going on because it's not anywhere near normal. I am in Alameda, California. Alameda, excuse me. I kept saying Alameda, and they're like, it's Alameda. I am in Alameda, California at the Alameda Comedy Club. It's a delightful little club. I have one more show tomorrow, by the way, and it's going to be what's it going to be? All ages show. It's 6 p.m. Now, if I seem a little bit distracted, here's why. Because what you can't see right there is my iPad, okay? And my iPad is connected to a Zoom show, which is going on right now. It's right this minute. So the Zoom show is going to be broadcast all over for the sober community, for AA and Al-Anon. So in a couple of minutes, I'm going to not be looking at you guys. It's going to be a little distracting because I'm actually going to be looking at my iPad, but I wanted you guys to be involved in the live stream of me doing real comedy in real time in a comedy club for the sober community. So this is the first time I've attempted this. Producer Stanton has, really worked overtime to get the StreamYard hooked up, and I got the Zoom hooked up, and I'm hoping that you enjoy the material. It's more like stories. It's not set up, punch, stand up, but there's going to be, a lot of truth and a lot of love, and we are excited. So in just a second, I'm going to switch over to that camera, and I'm grateful to you guys. And here we go. All right, be patient. So I'm trying. This is so weird because this is not what I do normally. So I'm gonna share content, and so we're here. Let me make sure they can see me. All right. Share content. Okay. This is interesting. I'll know when they put me on. I guess I'm in the green room. They have like a virtual green room. I'm telling you, this is bananas. I've never attempted anything like this. So, thank you. I'm trying my level best to be part of something bigger and supportive. And now you'll hear a little bit of the guy that's going before me, Sully McCullough. Very funny guy. So I think they're going to intro me, and a guy named Ira is going to intro me in about 3 minutes. And then it'll be go time. Sully's very funny. I'm not going to turn the computer around because that'll get confusing. But in just a few moments, I won't be in the virtual green room. This is almost above my pay grade. And thank you for being grateful and saying thank you for joining me and etc. Because you know what? You guys are joining me. I'm the one that's just sitting in place drinking a Diet Coke. You're the ones that are making the decision to be involved and watch whatever it is I'm about to say to these people when they're done laughing at Sully. I will tell you this though. The club is beautiful. The food is amazing. The the comedians are funny. It's all good.
We saw him at this benefit and we heckled him. We didn't know how good he really was.
Yeah, I think he's about to wrap it up. I'm texting on this phone. Please let me know when you're going to intro me. Okay.
Yeah. I guess you can be purple in this country, but you just can't be black, huh?
He's talking about Barney right now. He's saying that the guy in the Barney suit is black. That you can be purple, but you can't be black. That's a pretty funny bit. I've actually seen the guy inside of Barney. I think he's gay too. So you can be purple and gay. Just like that. All right, guys. All right, so evidently they're going right into me now. I just got a text. No matter how many times I text them on this phone and say, text me on this phone, because the other phone is on the tripod, that just goes to show you that even when you have important people running the show.
All right, I'm going to do one last joke.
Oh, there he is. I'm going to do one last joke.
And let me say, Alan,
okay, here we go.
Very giving.
And I don't even know how much time I'm doing. And I have another show starting in Alameda in not a very long time. But you know what? We're here. We're going to make good things happen.
A lot of comedians have podcasts. I do not have a podcast.
All right, we're getting ready.
We're
getting ready.
Hiking with white girls and not having sex with.
It's funny too because the way they have it set up, you guys can hear the laughing. Oh, there he goes. All right, get ready. Here's Ira. All right, here I am.
Yeah. Let's hear it. Yeah. That was hilarious. That was fantastic. And yeah, it was so much better with
All right, here we go.
Hi, Ira. Can I come in, or are you going?
No, I thought it was you, but they spotlit me, and I'm about to take away this chance. Oh, I'm here.
Right, it's
Aroma Coffee, okay? We're raffling off a date for Ira, just so you know. But we're going to also keep this show. Okay. That was nice.
All right.
I'm on your team. Okay, we'll discuss after. Okay, we're going to go into a breakout room in about 2 minutes. Okay, you guys ready for your next comedian? Okay, this is very exciting. We're getting to a very exciting part of the show. Our next headliner is a one-of-a-kind, versatile radio and TV personality, writer, and comedian. Her television career exploded with 3 specials on Showtime, including The Latin Divas of Comedy. Snoop Dogg presents The Bad Girls of Comedy, and her own one-hour special, Not Skinny, Not Blonde, based on her critically acclaimed book of the same name. She's made numerous appearances on HBO, Comedy Central, ABC, PBS, hosted Dick Clark's Rockin' New Year's Eve from South Beach, and was handpicked by John Gray to write his Broadway-bound touring show based on Men Are From Mars, Women Are From Venus. She's described as a Hispanic Bette Midler and a prettier Dr. Phil. And now live from the green room, put your hands together for Monique Marvez!
Thank you. Thank you. Okay, can you guys see me? Okay, well, here I am. Hi there, can you see me? All right, I can hear you guys. Oh, I guess I gotta listen to them. I got a song, I guess. I got a whole song. That's it? All right. So I was going to try and look at the gallery view, but you know what? I don't want to get confused and just mess the whole thing up. So I'm just going to look at me. I'm sorry. Okay. Only because I'm not techno savvy. In fact, I've coined the term ITARD just for myself. I know that's not PC, but I had me on. We've got this working now, and I hope I'm looking at the right camera and I don't look like I'm making, porn for morons. Which it would be because I'm fully dressed in a public place. But here's the thing, is that I am in a comedy club in Alameda, California, and they said, like, hey, Monique, would you like to do something for the sober community for Al-Anon? And I was like, would I ever? Because here's how I prepared for this show, was that I spent time with my family. Because if there's anything that reminds me that there are triggers everywhere, and just for the record, because I know that some people are, outing themselves and saying I'm a member, I'm not a member, I'm a 12-stepper. People always ask me. I'm going to tell you a little story. When I started comedy, I have my trusty Diet Coke right next to me. People would walk up to me and they would say to me, Monique, are you a friend of Bill W? Because I would drink coffee or Diet Coke or fizzy water. And they would say it like this, like really like that. Are you a friend of Bill W? And I got to thinking that Bill W was some other comedian that had shared like a comedy condo with me and was like spreading smack that I'd like made out with him or worse. And I was like, I don't know who this Bill W is, but if he tells you that he saw my chi-chis or something, he's a liar, because that never happened. And the reality is that because, there's always like rebel, conform, and third option. And because I come from a family they're just hedonistic people. They're just party animals, And I know these are euphemisms for alcoholic and drug addicts, but what I'm saying is, like, I'm going to tell you a little story. Number one, I've been the DD since I was 15. Like, as soon as I got my driver's license, everybody was super happy. So I'm still the DD for all of my friends, And then here's the funny thing. When you tell people over the age of 25, I don't drink, that's like some kind of a riddle of the Sphinx to them. They're like, it's like a thing they can't figure out. They're like, well, did you used to drink? No, I never drank. Oh, you did drugs? No, I never did drugs. Oh, hang on, you can hear the comedy club in the background because I'm actually doing this in between. And then they said, did you used to drink and stopped? And I'm like, no, I never drank and I never did drugs. And then they stare at me like I just landed from another planet. And I said, look, I don't judge anyone because anything can be an addiction or a compulsion. At the end of the day, I never found anything I liked better than Bad Men and malted milk balls. Like, that's it. Like pretty much it's just weenie and chocolate that light me up. And I know I have to be PG-13, so that's as far as that's going to go. But I tell people, if I ever found anything I liked better, I would do it. But I never did. But I don't judge people because I know I've been married 3 times, so it's a compulsion, it's a compulsion. And to be honest, I know that a lot of problems, compulsions, addictions, stinky thinking come from the family. So yeah, if you are in Al-Anon and you have children and they have problems, go in the bathroom and look right in the mirror and say, how might I have contributed to this? And be real honest about it. Because here's the thing, my parents are Hispanic and Catholic, and if you saw me, you would say, wow, you look like a middle-aged white woman with good credit. But the reality is, I'm 100% Latina from Miami, the capital of Cuba, and people were so worried about me performing in Alameda, because they're like, well, Alameda itself is nice, but right around it, there's some dodgy neighborhoods, and I'm like, I will shank someone. You don't know me. I grew up in Miami in the 80s. I'm fearless. I come from a super sketchy McSketcherton family, and here's the thing. Yeah, I've been married 3 times, but listen to these statistics. My dad was married 5, my mother 4. They married each other twice. My mother's second husband turned gay, which I don't think you turn gay. Okay, it's not like real estate. Like, oh, this used to be an IHOP, now it's a sushi bar. That's not how it works. Okay, she didn't understand that. It was a challenge for her. And my dad's 3rd wife was a retired Mexican lady of the night. I realize we're doing the PG-13 thing. And I'm not saying like I'm calling her a name. I'm saying it was a quid pro quo. You know what I mean? Like, I give you this, you give me green card. You know what I mean? Like, it was, I'm not exaggerating. And evidently she was the Brett Favre of the nether region, because she came out of retirement. She wasn't actually a retired Mexican hooker. She came out for one last winning season, which I think is my father's demise. God, I wish these were jokes, but I just want you to understand how much I empathize with the community. You know, how much I know about triggers, how much I understand how you just try so hard to do the right thing. You try so hard to do the right thing, you know, and when people judge me, they're like, oh, you've been married 3 times. And I always say, well, it's better to be married and divorced than plotting someone's death in their sleep. You know what I mean? It's never too late to gain control of your life and make the decision that you're going to walk a different walk, that you're going to walk a different path than your family. Like, I ended at 3. That's it. And I explained to people, yeah, okay, judge me if you want. I've been married 3 times, fine. But you have to think of my nethers as a library book. And my nether is a lonely Catholic librarian who only has one book to watch. So yeah, I've been married 3 times, but at least you know who checked my book out, how long they had it, when they brought it back, what condition it was in, there were any pencil marks in the margin. I mean, are you guys okay? You know, I have friends that are like, oh yeah, I've only been married once. Yeah, but you got married at 40. Your book was tore up, okay? You got married because you didn't even have a back cover, all right? I was with you in Vegas when you lost it. And you know what's the funny thing about Zoom? It's like being in a comedy club and people aren't laughing. Like, I just saw it said Melissa left, and I'm thinking, good, get out, Melissa. You know what I mean? Like, it didn't even upset me that I saw in the Zoom that it said Melissa left, because I don't even like Melissas, all right? No, I don't. This is a true fact. My first husband ran off with a woman named Melissa Ives. Melissa, 2 S's, I-V-E-S. I cleared her with my lawyer. I'm allowed to say that. It really happened, all right? You're allowed to. And here's the thing, going back to triggers and changing your life, all right? I did a Showtime special called Not Skinny, Not Blonde. You guys talked about it in the intro. And they called me a week before it aired. Showtime Legal called me and they said, is Melissa Ives a real person? And I said, every single thing I say on stage is a true fact. They said, well, we have to take that out. I said, why? And they said, litigation. It's a liability that you're naming somebody's real name. You have fans, there's cyberbullying. Somebody will find Melissa Ives. I'm like, I've been looking for her for 20 years, all right? I know this is premium cable, but hook a sister up. Like, why are you cutting that out? And they thought it was because if I found her that I would kick her butt, but that's not it. I would thank her. Because sometimes the lowest point in your life, the worst thing that ever happened to you is the start of the best thing that ever happened to you. Like, if it were not for Melissa Ives, I wouldn't be absolutely adoring my life. I wouldn't be like, oh, I'm in a comedy club and did you guys are we good? Are we back? I'll repeat it. Oh, and Robin H left. Good riddance, Robin. So because here's the deal. If it wasn't for Melissa Ives, I wouldn't be this strong. I wouldn't be self-confident. I wouldn't be in a comedy club in Alameda, California, doing a show for the wonderful, sobriety.
Wait, you're muted again.
The host keeps muting me. What is the matter with you, host? Stop hitting the wrong button. Oh my God. You guys why does it keep muting me? Stop it. Is it because I'm telling people? Is it
to stop touching?
Is it because, is it because I keep saying, I'm glad so-and-so left, and you're like, we don't want you to offend the contributors. Stop wishing them good riddance. Anyway, if it wasn't for Melissa Ives, I wouldn't be right here, right now, loving COVID, okay? I loved it. Other people are like, oh, COVID is depressing me. Oh, are you kidding me? COVID to me is it's like Nutella. It's spiritual Nutella that's just blanketing everything and making it sweet and delicious. And I'll tell you why. Because think about it, guys. Every bad decision you ever made, in an instant, if you change your attitude, it's suddenly genius. You can look at yourself and say, remember that time I woke up in an alley with peed on jeans? Best thing that ever happened to me, you know? Now I always have dry pants and I have a great job and I'm having an amazing life, you know? Because if it weren't for Melissa Ives, and I'm not even being funny, this is an absolute thing. I might still be married to my first husband. You know how hard it is to be married to someone during COVID that you don't love, that you're just hiding from them because you like your house and you weren't ready to give it up, you know? And think about how long can you say I've got a headache? You guys know what I mean. I'm trying to keep this PG-13. Like, if you thought dodgeball was hard, okay? Some of you are going to laugh at that later. They're like, oh, she's trying to avoid the, oh, yeah. So I hope you guys can still hear me because the laughter stopped, or maybe it's because that struck close to home and a lot of you are trying to figure out how to not be intimate with people you hate during COVID. Okay, somebody laughed.
Somebody muted everybody. That's fine. Unmute yourself, guys.
Okay, can you guys, at least if you're laughing on the inside, that makes me feel good. Because I used to do radio, so I'm used to silence. I'm used to talking to myself and saying, hey, that's pretty darn entertaining, Monique. So here's the upshot of all of this, is that I wouldn't have missed being here for the world. And not because Frankie asked me, or not because, you know, I'm here because I believe that you have to, nobody walks through the door of great by themselves. Not one single person walks through the door of great by themselves. And here's the funny thing, you don't even walk through the door of great by yourself or with people that support you and love you. Sometimes you walk through the door of great with what I call about-face angels. That's a PG-13 way of saying it. But about-face angels, because it's the people that fired you or knocked you down or told you that you couldn't or found you at the worst time in your life that opened the door for all of this great stuff. Like, I'm not in the back of the comedy club. Or can you guys, I'm trying to power, I don't want to say power through, but there's something going on where I can't hear you guys. I'm just talking because whatever's going on, I want you to know that I'm about face angels. Gretchen's there. Thank you, Gretchen. Yeah, because I can't say what they really are, which it rhymes with glass, you know, with glass coals. So, but those are the people that sometimes push you on to greatness. And Melissa Ives was my first one, and then like pretty much every guy that ever broke up with me. And here I stand. I still don't drink. I still don't do drugs. And I've got Whoppers completely under control. That was a struggle, though. I actually got over dating bad men before I got over Whoppers. And I'm going to tell you the last time I really got high on malted milk balls. It was a doozy. All right? I was super, like, you know, I went to Seattle. Of course, that's where everybody finds really good drugs. And I went to Seattle, and I went to the Pike Street Market, and they had a woman who made candy by hand. All right, so this wasn't Whoppers in the container. This was malted milk balls that were hand dipped. It's funny because I'm getting all these messages that people left and unmute us and don't unmute us. So I'm just going to do my thing, and then you can edit me. So she handmade candy, and she had handmade malted milk balls, and they were big. This was like black tar malted milk balls. They were like this big, hand dipped, fresh malt, this big. And I said, how much are they? She's like 75 cents a ball. That's a lot of money, you know, 75 cents a ball. But I was willing to pay premium. So I bought 8. And I had 8 balls. I had 8 balls in a bag. True story. And I took it and I went back to the comedy condo. I was all alone in the comedy condo with my 8 balls. And I took out a very sharp knife and I cut them in half. I literally cut the Whoppers, the malted milk balls, in half with a sharp knife. And since they were fresh and handmade, I knew they wouldn't crumble. So I cut them and I set them, and I had my 16 half malted milk balls in a row. My 16 half malted milk balls in a row on a plate in the Comedy Condo in Seattle. And all of a sudden, it was one of those weird lightning strike thunderballs of every time I had ever judged anybody in my family, because everything is relative. God doesn't judge you by everyone around you. He judges you by you. Whatever you've done that you think is terrible, whatever level it's at, don't judge yourself. You know, don't judge yourself by like, oh my God, I did this. It was so terrible. Because whatever you did, you were trying, you stumbled, you fell, you screwed up. And we're seeing those 8 balls in a row cut into 16 halves made me think of every time I'd ever judged anybody who had stumbled or given in or done something maybe they shouldn't have done. And I have to tell you that it took me 4 days to eat them because I wanted to genuinely understand what it feels like to have self-control, to have power over my own dominion, to not just gobble them all up and say tomorrow's another day or screw it, I already messed up. You know, all the things we say when we stumble and fall and don't meet our own expectations of ourselves. Every time I popped a half a malted milk ball in my mouth, I thought about somebody in my family who struggled with alcohol or cocaine or gambling or whatever they struggled with, that I had always felt superior to them or judged them or thought that just because mine was malted milk balls or, you know, dating or marrying bad or people. And I have to tell you that by the time I got to the 16th half, 4 days later, I felt changed. I felt like I really understood what it takes to be able to control your mind, not give in, not eat them all in a row. Believe it or not, it actually illustrated a much larger, more important point for me. And I get it, and I love you, and I want the best for you, and I wish that the end was as funny as the beginning, but I have another show to do, or I'd be with you guys all night.
Thank you for your service.
I love you, I respect you, and I wish you all the longest of lives with the best of everything. Thank you.
Love you, Monique.
Love you back.
Yeah. Come on, let's get it for Monique Marvez.
Thank you. I'm touched.
I want to let you all know.
Have a good show, Monique.
Thank you, guys.
But don't go anywhere. Don't go anywhere. You got it.
Thank you.
Surprise comedian.
Thank you. I've got to go to work now, but thank you.
All right. Stepping in from the Alameda Comedy Club here in the Bay Area. Oh, so great to have her up here. So great to have her on the show. That was fantastic.
That was amazing.
All right, guys. There you saw. You saw the whole thing. You saw what I had to say and my moment of complete honesty. And every single thing I said was true. I really did buy 8 malted milk balls at 75 cents a piece. So expensive. And spent 4 days eating them in Seattle. So I have to get back to work, but I wanted to include you and do something live and do something special. And I don't even know that you guys know how much I appreciate you showing up on Saturday nights, which is why I do my level best to never let you down and to always show up. And not because it's COVID. We're going to keep doing this. The live stream on Saturday night is something that I'm going to continue long after lockdown because I do it as much for myself as I do for you. So sorry that we have a shorter show tonight. I hope you loved it. I hope that you know how much you mean to me. And remember, like it, tap it, share it, talk about it with your friends. If you have some, if you don't, you can just send me a message on your friends. And until I see you next Saturday night, love hard, forgive harder, and get as happy as you can, as fast as you can. I love you guys. Thank you. Bye.